I am Supreme, and today's Astro Oracle investigation will be on the Skelton Brothers. The Skelton Brothers, Andrew Skelton, who was 9 years old, Alexander Skelton, who was 7 years old, and Tanner Skelton, who was 5, disappeared from Morenci, Michigan, over Thanksgiving weekend in 2010, while in their father's custody, John Skelton. Despite extensive searches and their father, John Skelton, serving prison time for unlawful imprisonment, the boys were never found. They were declared legally dead in March 2025. And John was charged with their murder in November 2025. Today is April 30th, 2026. Now, the boys were last seen on November 25th, 2010. John Skelton originally claimed he gave the boys to an organization to protect them, later suggesting an underground group or Amish connection, which authorities never found credible. Phone records indicated John traveled 25 miles southwest into Ohio and back during the time the boys vanished. In 2011, John Skelton, who was the father, pleaded no contest to 3 counts of unlawful imprisonment. He was sentenced to 10 to 15 years in prison. In November 2025, shortly before his scheduled release from prison, prosecutors charged John Skelton with 3 counts of open murder and tampering with evidence. The boys were declared dead by a judge in March 2025. As of April 2026, today, the remains found in various locations have not belonged to the brothers. The boys' mother, Tanya Zuvers, has continued to advocate for answers in hopes of finding her children. So, this is going to be a lengthy investigation. I'm going to get straight to the point. What happened to the Skelton brothers? What happened to the Skelton brothers? I'm not even sure if I could turn that noise off because it doesn't normally do that while I'm doing the investigation, but that's all right. What happened to the Skelton brothers? Now, I spent time with their energy. Let me tell y'all, I done watched podcasts all day on this case. I spent all day in the energy of the Skelton brothers. I spent all day with their charts. I pre-shuffled all the decks that I plan on using. That's going to help me find out the who, what, where, when, and why of what happened to the Skelton brothers. Who did it? Why? Where are they? If they are not dead, even if they are dead, where are their bodies? Let's find out. I am Supreme. I am a high-ranking Astro Oracle Psychic. I am about to conduct a high-ranking Astro Oracle Psychic investigation on the Skelton brothers. Now, the charts that I have up here on the bulletin is John Skelton, I'm going to be working from John Skelton's planetary alignment alongside the planetary alignment of the day the Skelton brothers went missing. Also, in front of me, because they couldn't fit on the bulletin, I have all three of the brothers' planetary alignments. I have Andrew Skelton, who was born November 20th, 2001. I have Alexander Skelton's birth date, who was born November 4th, 2003, along with his planetary alignments. And I have Tanner's planetary alignments on his birthday, October 20th, 2005. So I've been comparing each chart with the father's chart and the father's chart with the chart of the day that the boys went missing to see how the father's energy played out that day. I located where each and every brother is located at by energy in the father's chart. Also, where each brother is located at by energy and alignment the day that they disappeared. That's right. I did a high-ranking astro oracle investigation already on the charts, and I have a lot to talk about. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that bell button so you'll be notified when I drop my high-ranking astro oracle investigations. So, let's get right to it. Now, John Skelton, okay, he was born November 22nd, 1971. On that day, his sun was in Scorpio and his moon was in Capricorn. When you put a Capricorn moon in Scorpio's house, Gemini comes first. Gemini is the local environment. Gemini is the intellect. Gemini rules interaction and communication. It is the energy in us that is governed by Mercury, which is the planet of the intellect and the function of existence. Everything has a function. Every life form has a function and a way of communicating among each other. That's Mercury, the planet Mercury. Planet Mercury moves in all of us, everything that has life. All people, places, and things, everything that exists is influenced by Mercury. Gemini comes first in John Skelton's birth chart energy. However, John is a Scorpio with a moon in Capricorn. John, in his own energy, is a sixth house Scorpio. The sixth house is the house of employment, work, daily routine, health, wellness. And when Scorpio, the energy of power, control, change, and transition, also known as death, because death is just not limited to the body. All things die. Relationships die. Jobs die. You lose jobs. You lose relationships. You lose your body. You lose life. Okay? You lose money. You lose people, places, and things. That's all Scorpio energy. But you never really lose anything because everything is transformed. So that is Scorpio's energy. It transforms from one thing to the next. So we know that John Skelton's life, and I'm not going to make this reading about his life, just that I have his birth chart in front of you. So we're going to talk a little bit about John Skelton. His Scorpio in the sixth house lets me know that his life was full of various employment changes and health changes. Scorpio in the sixth house is powerful when it comes to health because they can get sick and then they can resurrect from any sickness and setback, like miraculously. That is the power of the phoenix. Now, John's moon is in Capricorn. And Capricorn is right here in the house of death. That's Scorpio's house. Now, does this mean that John killed the boys? No. Let's actually pull the chart of the day the boys disappeared to see how John's energy plays out the way the planets were aligned that day that the boys disappeared. November 26, 2010. On that day, the sun was in Sagittarius and the moon was in Cancer. And Cancer rules the moon. When you put a Cancer moon in Sagittarius's house, which is the 9th house of long distance travels, Scorpio comes first. Now, John Skelton is a Scorpio. Not only is John Skelton a Scorpio, and his energy comes first the day the boys disappeared, look what's in the house of death, Scorpio's house, Gemini. That is John Skelton's first and foremost energy, his rising sign. Gemini rules the 3rd house. This is John's birth chart. Look what's in the actual 3rd house the day the boys disappeared. Capricorn, John's moon. So we have 3 very important major dots that lets us know that John Skelton played the most important role in knowing exactly what happened to his sons. There goes John coming first. There go his moon, which represents the nature of activities that day, went on in the 3rd house, of course, because he was traveling. Even when they pulled the phone records and location, they spotted John traveling to Ohio and back. Whatever happened to those boys happened during that travel. Where was John going? Where are the boys? If John met with somebody like he said, who was this individual? Because this individual is also responsible for where these boys are. But we do know that the road, Gemini, interaction, travel is what ended the death. Now, are they dead or are they missing? Now, I'm going to show you a little bit of what I did. First, let me go over this timeline, and then I'm going to pull the boys' chart, and I'm going to compare the charts in front of you and show you what I came up with, and then we're going to pull cards. So, the disappearance. Thanksgiving weekend 2010, November 26, 2010. Now, John did try to commit suicide and failed. You know how I know that? Because look at John's birth chart. Gemini is right here coming first. The day the boys disappeared, Gemini is right there in the house of death. Gemini rules John's body because the 1st house represents the body, the physical appearance. So with Gemini there, when you have a Gemini body, that means that the energy of Gemini is the aura that surrounds the body. Meaning his body, when it comes to his physical appearance, people who have Gemini on the 1st house can be seen by where their mind is. When you listen to what a person says and how they communicate, how they interact, how they use their intellect, it will determine how they look to you. That is a Gemini appearance. There are 12 different physical appearances. Just like, for example, if Cancer came first, Cancer rules our emotions. A person with Cancer in the first house that rules the physical body will look exactly how they feel. If they feel good, these are the people that look good. If they feel awful, these are the people that look awful. So, for example, if Capricorn is on the first house of the body, Capricorn rules status. It rules authority. This person's physical appearance is defined by their position and status. That determines how people see them. Their physical appearance is determined by their authority and status. When you hear this person talk about, oh, I'm a police officer, or I'm a lawyer, or I'm a doctor, this is all Capricorn energy in the first house. They're telling you who they are, so that way it will control how you see them. This is how they want to be seen, by their status. So back to John Skelton's physical body and appearance, Gemini. And of course he did a lot of talking in court. He had to. Because ain't no way those boys was last seen with you in your care and you have not been arrested for murder or homicide. Now, Gemini showed up in the 8th house. This lets me know that, no, it doesn't let me know that he killed the boys, but it does let me know that he tried to kill himself. But he failed. So now you have to live with all that you know, because you know exactly where those boys are. So, for one, we know John Skelton, he may not be in jail anymore because I heard he was released in 2025. But guess what? He's still in hell no matter where he's at, because you have to live with everything that you know. You have some people on this planet, to live is hell to them because they'd rather be dead. And we do know that John Skelton, once upon a time, tried to commit suicide and failed. So we know he'd rather be dead. Whatever he knows about what happened with these boys and whatever he did, he plans on taking that to the grave. Now, let's talk about the boys. I saw that the boys may be with their grandparent. I saw strong grandparent energy in the picture. I sure did. Or a friend of the family who the grandparents also may know about. Because I feel like the grandparents know. I don't know if it's the mother's parents or John's parents. But the grandparents somehow are in the picture. You don't hear too much about the grandparents, but I see them. Or what I'm looking at in the 9th house could be a truck driver, a fellow co-worker, because John Skelton was terminated. He lost his job as a truck driver due to drinking and driving. Yeah. Him and the boy's mother were currently in a custody battle. They were at odds, but cooperating with each other for the sake of the boys. At least that's how they painted the picture. Because obviously the mother trusted him enough to keep the boys in his care, because the mother had custody. But she let John take the boys for Thanksgiving weekend. And that Friday she wanted to come get them early. But John was like, the boys are with a friend. And I think that's the friend that I see. And that friend just may be the truck driver that I also see. Because I also see somebody that the boys are with traveling on the road. This may be a fellow co-worker that John knows and agreed to meet up somewhere and make an exchange. I believe money was involved too. Somebody who travels for money is involved because the sun was in Sagittarius that day. Sagittarius represents travel, long distance travel. When it comes to jobs, Sagittarius energy is truck driving jobs. Now, I see Sagittarius in the second house the day it happened. That's traveling for money. And the reason why I'm looking so hard at Sagittarius, because it rules the ninth house, which is where I see the grandmother, the grandparent. But I'm going to tell you why I zoomed in on Sagittarius. Because guess what? Guess what all of the boys, the brothers, have in common? I look down this list of all the planets. There are three signs that all of the boys have in common. Two signs, but all three of them have those two signs in common. That is Pluto, which is in Sagittarius. Pluto is the energy of death. It rules Scorpio energy. And guess what other sign the boys all have in common? That's right, you guessed it, Scorpio. What are the odds that all of the boys have Scorpio energy? They share Scorpio energy, and their Scorpio energy is ruled by Mercury, which is the planet that governs Gemini, like I told you in the beginning. And Gemini comes first the day it happened. I'm sorry, Gemini comes first in John's chart, but Gemini landed in the house of death the day it happened. Forgive me, I'm going too fast. Because I'm excited, because I see. I'm showing you what I see. And I'm excited for justice. So, this tells me the fact that Gemini comes first in John's energy. That's the father. But all of his boys have Mercury in Scorpio. And look where Scorpio is at in John's chart. The house of work. That's how I know that because Mercury rules Scorpio in all of the boys' chart, and John's Scorpio is in the house of work, with John's Gemini coming first. And the planet that rules Scorpio is Pluto. And Pluto is in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is on the road getting money. But why is this Sagittarius energy that's on the road getting money not the father, not John? Because look where Sagittarius is in John's energy. His significant other. This is somebody he's in a relationship with. Somebody he's in a relationship with that's on the road. Now, relationship energy rules the seventh house, right? Let's follow this seventh house energy. Libra is the sign that rules the seventh house, right? Venus rules Libra. Look where Libra is first in John's energy. It's in the house of children. So this person in a relationship could be one of the mothers of the children. I think they all share all three children, if I'm not mistaken. So could the mother be involved in some form of fashion? Because Libra is right here in the house of children. Now, this could also be somebody that John sold the children to for sex trafficking. Because Pluto is also the energy of sex, and so is Scorpio, because Pluto rules Scorpio. And the fifth house rules children. And remember, I told you we're going to follow this relationship house, which is Libra, and Venus, because Venus rules Libra. And guess where Venus is the day it all happened? It was in Libra, right here in the house of children. But guess where Venus came from in John's chart? Sagittarius. That's how I know this is somebody that John was in a relationship with. he partnered up with to sell these children, because all of their Sagittarius energies is in Pluto. And Sagittarius is right here in the house of money. You cannot make this up. This is Taurus's house, the house of money. Look where Taurus happens to be at. Right there in the 7th house of relationships. Because that is a financial transaction that went down when John went to Ohio. He met somebody on the road somewhere that these children are with. Now, the boys may have been lied to by the father. Of course, he told the boys, I'm gonna take you and give you to a family, because he let the courts know. I told the boy I'm gonna give them to a family that lives on a farm. He told the courts that he gave his kids to a family that live on a farm so they can have a better life, and they can buy the farming boots that they always wanted. I guess he couldn't afford them. The farming boots that they always wanted, and they could drive around on tractors all day. That's what he told them. And I'm not looking like that because of how stupid that sounds. I'm looking like that because that's the story that he used. It's not stupid to tell a child that, if your intention was to give them away or whatever because you couldn't afford to take care of them, and to paint a picture, let them know, look, I'm giving you. If that story was true, it would not have been a bad story. That's what I'm trying to say. But unfortunately, that story wasn't true. So they met with foul play and eventually trafficked and shipped, possibly overseas. But they are definitely a long distance from the father and the mother and the location that they disappeared from. They were given to a worker who travels for money. Let's talk about the boy's chart right quick. Andrew, who's the oldest, Andrew was born November 20th, 2001. His sun is in Scorpio and his moon is in Virgo. And when you put a Virgo moon in Scorpio's house, which is the 8th house of death, Aquarius comes first in Andrew's chart. Now, where's Aquarius at the day it happened? And where's Aquarius at in the father's chart? Aquarius, the day it happened, is in the 4th house, at home. And Aquarius in the father's chart is in the 9th house of grandparents and long distance travels, including truck driving, with Sagittarius, who rules the 9th house, over here in the house of relationships. Alexander, who was born November 4th, 2003, his sun was also in Scorpio, and his moon was in Pisces. And when you put a Pisces moon in Scorpio's house, which is also the house of death, Leo comes first. Where was Leo at the day it happened? The day they disappeared. Leo is right here in the 10th house of the father. The 10th house is the father's house. The 10th house is Capricorn's house. Authority figures. And the authority figures that we know for sure was in his life was his father. Leo represents children, the child's father. Now, on that day, when you put Pisces in the 8th house of death, Leo comes first. And it came from the father's house. Where was Leo at in the actual father's energy? Look, right there in the 3rd house. Right there with his father. That day, traveling. Tanner, who was born October 20th, 2005. Tanner's sun is in Libra. and his moon is in Taurus. When you put a Taurus moon in Libra's house, which is the 7th house, Scorpio, the chart we already have out, that's the actual chart of the day it happened. Scorpio comes first. And Tanner's chart, that's the day that it happened. Scorpio comes first. Where's Scorpio at the day it happened? Right there in the first house of the body. So that confirms his death. And where was Scorpio at in the father's chart? The 6th house of work. I believe they were given away. But I also believe that those boys have been unalived. And I really believe that they were poisoned. I really believe that. I believe the father put something in their food and poisoned them and took their bodies to Ohio to transfer them over to a truck driver. And the truck there was money involved. The truck driver is responsible for hiding the bodies. All of that, giving them to a farm and all of that, that's just a distraction to lead the search team over here when everything that's going on with the boys is all the way over here. Traveling, leaving, going far away from the crime. I'm ready to pull cards. I'm going to start off with a message. I'm going to let these boys speak. I'm going to pull 6 cards. I already told them I'm going to pull 6 cards. I pre-shuffled this deck while I was talking with them before I logged on. Those boys are with me. Their soul is with me. They've been with me all day, leading me and guiding me through this reading and this energy. And yes, my heart is very heavy. What happened to the Skelton Brothers? I'm going to pull 6 cards. Andrew, Alexander, and Tanner, talk to me. I'm going to pull 6 cards. Talk to me in 6 words. Tell me what happened to y'all. I'm going to cut the deck and pull 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, now we have an authority figure. We have image. Image is the first house. We have an authority figure, the father. Look at that, a co-worker. I told you, the father and a co-worker. I told you, this is an image. They're telling stories to keep an image, because remember I told you Gemini comes first in the father's energy. He has to speak in order to control his image. That's what he's doing in court. Speaking to control. The image is the first house. Church and religion is involved somewhere in this. Church and religion, that's the 9th house. Now, the 9th house is where I also saw the truck drivers. The 9th house is also the house of grandparents. But it's also the house of church and religion, too. And in the 9th house, the day it happened, I see Cancer, the home, family, and the mother. And this is the house of grandparents. Could a church that's affiliated with either the mother, the father, or the grandparents be involved? Romance. Somebody is a romance involved. Fame and prestige is here. Status. Capricorn rules status. Fame and prestige. You don't have to be on stage to be famous. All right, let's keep these cards down here. You'd be surprised the hidden motive behind the things that people do, even for money. I want to know what chart the boys are going to pull. I want Andrew, Alexander, and Tanner. Pull a chart that's going to help me make sense and bring this reading to a closing and bring justice to your loved ones. Talk to me. Pull a chart for what happened to the Skelton Brothers. November 26, 2010. What happened to the Skelton Brothers? November 26, 2010. I'm going to cut the deck. Mars in the fourth. They were attacked at home. Mars in the fourth. Look at that. You can't make that up. Mars is the assassin. That is the attack. And it happened at home. They were attacked in the home. Mars that day was in Sagittarius. Sagittarius, that ninth house energy. Sagittarius rules the ninth house. Now, when Mars is in Sagittarius, in the fourth house, guess what comes first? When Sagittarius is in the fourth house? Virgo. The co-worker. You can't make this up. You cannot make this up. I feel like their bodies is in a truck and is traveling. You can't make this up. Truck drivers live on their trucks. They have whole cabins. The first part of the truck is a whole cabin, not just a driver and passenger seat. The curtain behind them is a whole room. I've been on many trucks. It is a whole room back there. My brother drives trucks. Fourth house. They are on a truck traveling with somebody who's at work. This co-worker. Virgo comes first. Those boys are being transported. Their bodies were hidden. Nowhere near where everybody's searching for them at. Them boys are across country somewhere. Hidden. Their bodies are dead in a whole nother state. Probably on the whole other side of the country. My heart is heavy. Mars in the fourth house. Now, Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Where was Jupiter that day? It was in Pisces, the hidden. And where's Pisces at? Right there in the seventh house. This is a sixth house chart that the boys pulled. And remember, I told you in the very beginning, in the father's chart, which is the third house, look where the father is. He's a Scorpio, right there in the sixth house. That's how I knew he met up. He met up with somebody in that local environment to transport them kids. Leo in the third house. He met up with a co-worker, sixth house. And the boys pulled the sixth house to let us know where they are. They are with a truck driver. Somebody that the father used to work with. Their body is with that truck driver. And the sun was in Sagittarius that day. The sun and Mars was right here. And all of the boys, Pluto, the planet of death. Mars is the planet that rules Aries, but it's in Sagittarius that day. Look where Aries is at. Right there in the house of death. The boys have been unalived. And their bodies are being transported on a truck. Who's in the energy of this crime? Because I feel like more than just the father knows. There are some people that have been at the forefront of this investigation that also know where these boys are. Who are these people? Talk to me. Andrew, Alexander, and Tanner. Talk to me. Who are these people that knows exactly where you are? You cannot make this up. This is the truck driver, employee in the ninth house. That's the truck driver. I told you in the beginning, the ninth house is Sagittarius' house. They are with the truck driver. The truck driver, an authority figure in the fourth house, the father. Look, and not only that, the day that the chart that the boys pulled, look, that's Sagittarius. Sagittarius rules the ninth house. See, in red. Sagittarius, ninth house. But Taurus is there. Money. That's the employee. There's money involved. This is the truck driver. They are on the truck. In the community. Dead. Eighth house. Mars rules Aries. Aries is right there in the eighth house. Dead. They are on somebody's truck. In whatever community that truck is in. They are on somebody's truck. Dead. At least when it happened, they were. But I'm going to pull 3 cards to give us an idea on where these bodies are. But I know they was transported on a truck. You can't make this up. Where are the bodies of the Skelton brothers? Sorry, y'all. My heart is heavy. I just got to have a moment of silence. Because all of this is moving around in me. Where are the bodies of the Skelton brothers? Where are the bodies of the Skelton brothers? I'm going to pull 3 cards and see what these 3 cards have in common. Because that's what's going to let us know, give us an idea of where the bodies are. Where are the bodies of the Skelton brothers? I'm going to shuffle it one more time. Make sure I'm not moving too fast. Where are the bodies of the Skelton brothers in 3 cards? Where are the bodies in 3 cards? 1, 2, 3. Vehicle in the 8th house, death. This vehicle in the 8th house. And it could be in the community. One of their bodies could be in a vehicle in the community, dead. If it's not the community where the father lives, then it's a community where this truck driver lives. One of their bodies is in a vehicle, dead. a body of water in the 11th house. Now, what's ironic is in the 11th house, look what I see. Cancer, home, family, and the mother. Right? Now, the day it happened, Cancer is right here in the 9th house where the truck driver's at. This could be the body of water where the truck driver lives. And then right here is a wooded area in the 6th house. And remember, that's where the father is. He is a 6th house individual in a wooded area. What does this all mean? A vehicle in the 8th house, a body of water in the 11th, and a wooded area in the 6th. This is a body of water in the community. This is not a large body of water. This is like an individual body of water. If their body, I feel like their bodies are scattered. One is in the woods, one is in the body of water, and one is in a vehicle. But the truck driver definitely knows exactly where all these bodies are. Because all of this would not have came out the way that it did. And it all aligned. And this is all 4 different decks that I used.